Hey, movie nerds, it's Gilly from the Ag Review. Summer season, so here we go with another movie from the MCU. Now, this is crazy thinking about it. This is the 23rd film in the MCU universe since the introduction of Iron Man onto the big screen. And this one right now, Far From Home, is the last movie of Phase 3. So I'm getting really giddy now because now we're going to get into Phase 4. And after watching Spider Man Far From Home, wow, there's a lot of chaos and questions that arose, especially with those post-credit scenes. I'm not going to get into that. Like I said, your boy here doesn't believe in spoilers, so if I ever let one slip, you can have permission to sock me one. Anyways, let's get into the movie. So, Spider-Man: Far From Home comes around the time after everything happened in Endgame. If you haven't seen it, gosh darn it, just try to plug yours for a little bit. So after the blip and everything, after the battle is won, after Tony Stark is unfortunately taken from us, all eyes are kind of on Spider-Man. The rest of the Avengers are kind of on their own, and Spidey here is just left to be the new face of hope, which is a tough task to take on, and Peter Parker is worn down. At first, we see it as this bright-eyed young crime fighter in Homecoming, took on Vulture. Then the ante gets lifted really, really, really high. All of a sudden, he's fighting side by side amongst the heavy hitters, and he's taking on Thanos, and he's like in space. He gets blipped, and so he comes back, and it's almost like coming back from war. For modern soldiers, he's not the same anymore. He's changed. He wants to be normal. So instead of going off to fight all these terrible things that are going to cause harm to our existence, he kind of doesn't want to carry that weight anymore. He just wants to come home, and there's already enough to deal with post Endgame. We have what happened with the blip. So people are back now after half the population was wiped out. People are trying to get back into their homes that aren't theirs anymore. People have aged all of a sudden. Things are different. And Spidey wants nothing more than just to enjoy a couple of weeks in Europe. I mean, I know I could use a good vacation. And the last thing I would want is Nick Fury calling me up saying, hey, guess what, man? We've got these Titan-like elementals coming to destroy the world as we know it. So these bad boys are popping up across the world, and they have no good intentions for us. And so Spider-Man's like, all right, we got to get this job done, but he's not alone in this. Introducing Quentin Beck, a.k.a. Mysterio. Looks like an ally there to help out Spidey take these guys on, because apparently these creatures took out his planet in a multiverse, which is really exciting considering this could all perhaps tie in together later on, but I'm getting too far ahead of myself on that. We'll talk about that later. So Quentin Beck appears to be an ally. Peter Parker needs a friend. He just lost the only male role model and friend he's had since Uncle Ben. I mean, Aunt May is wonderful, obviously, but Peter Parker devastated from losing Uncle Ben, and now he lost Tony Stark, his mentor and side-by-side fighting buddy. It's just ripping them apart. So it's nice to find solace in another superhero that kind of understands what you're going through. But since the beginnings of this movie, Peter Parker's spider sense is off, and it shows. He makes some unfortunate decisions, and it comes back to bite him, as well as the ghosts of Tony Stark's past. And he's in for a hell of a fight. And this time he doesn't have the team that he thought he had. He's by himself on this one. And that's all I'm going to say about it, because you have to watch the movie. It is absolutely phenomenal. Besides the amazing, amazing special effects. I mean, besides Doctor Strange, I've got to say Far From Home has some of the best choreography and special effects I've seen in an MCU movie in a long time. It was just amazing. I think the director at some point took some tablets of acid and perhaps dropped into his camera as well, because some of these scenes, I thought I was tripping. I wasn't. Don't do drugs, kids. But man, some of those I can't wait to re-see, like in my own home, lights down, and it was really cool. But I was surprised at the human nature of all of this. It's already tough being a hero and fighting these wars. Being a soldier is not easy. Fighting for those that can't fight, especially beings of this nature, like that coming from space to take over and harm us. Spider-Man has a lot on his shoulders now. Excuse me, and he already has enough teenage angst. This guy wants to be a kid. He wants to pursue the girl that he likes. He wants to go to college and just live peacefully with Aunt May and go to go on to live his best life. But he can't anymore. He was bestowed great powers, so now he's got great responsibilities. I'm sorry I had to say it for reviewing Spider-Man movie. I've got to say it. I'm sorry, you can fight me later. But old Spidey now has a lot more on his shoulders. And so it was neat to see his mindset and his psyche of trying to come to grips with, am I the only one out here now fighting? Can I do this alone? Yeah, it's easy. Everyone sees some of the cameras and the news footage of, oh man, Spider-Man's doing great things. But how's he doing? Is he really ready for this fight? And so hopefully we're going to get to see in Phase 4 if Spider-Man's ready to live up to the hype that Tony Stark believes he can be. Like, Iron Man was a symbol of inspiration and hope for Earth. Now that he's gone, he passed the torch. He chose Spider-Man to do this. Now, if it wasn't already tough enough being a superhero to know that the greatest one of the Avengers, the one that everyone is still pining and just mourning after he got defeated, not defeated, but after he died in Endgame, that's a lot of pressure to take on knowing that the Iron Man chose you to be the new face of hope. And Spider-Man's got a lot to deal with now. But even though he doesn't have all the Avengers with him, he still has his little buddy around to help him. And let's see if MJ comes along to help him out. So I've got to say, all in all, for Spider-Man Far From Home, I'm going to use a scale of 10 here. I've got to say 7.5. Solid 7.5. I mean, I wanted to give it an 8, but 7.5 sounds fair. I'm really excited to see what the next movie in the MCU is going to be about and what's in store for Spider-Man, especially after this post-credit scene. So do me a favor, guys. Click like and subscribe and leave some comments. We'll talk more about it. Like I said, I don't like to say spoilers, especially on here. But all in all, Spider-Man Far From Home, check it out a few times, especially on IMAX. The special effects are great. And hey, man, welcome back, Spider-Man. Keep doing your thing, dude. I will talk to you guys soon. Check out Spider-Man Far From Home. Later on, guys.